Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to the video. So, I've had many requests to return to Berserk. So, today we're going to look at Berserk. I've already got the files open. This is going to be very fun. But I thought I would do some updates really quick first. It's kind of been the sort of modus operandi of starting the video. So, just give me a couple minutes to discuss everything that's going on. Hopefully, I can impart some cool information for people, too. So, I've been working on Blaster Kid. I've been, I had the script finished. I'm researching all the things that you do with a crowdfunded book, and it is very stressful. It's very confusing. It's exhausting. So I had mentioned that I would try to give you guys tips along the way. So as to and I'm gonna check it out today. I've been meaning to, but Jim Rugg, I think, did sort of a retrospective look on the crowdfunded book campaign that he did and sort of explained his process. But I thought it could also be interesting to just actually describe the processes I'm going through it. And I've been getting amazing feedback from people. People have been so helpful. They've been reaching out to me. And I want to recommend this for people doing Blaster Kid art, because things are so chaotic and confusing right now. It is really stressful. I have to be honest. I've been suffering from anxiety the last few days because of all this. And it's been difficult. It's like I don't operate well when I'm stressed out, but I'm getting through it. But it's a little overwhelming. But yeah, so for people that are submitting fan art, do me a favor, because I'm getting it from I don't even know, 5 to 10 different sources. Some people are sending it to me through Patreon. Some people are trying to send it to me through Instagram and all this different stuff. Just use blasterkidcomic@gmail.com and send all the fan art there, and the coloring samples too. But yeah, the fan art in particular, because I'll have some of it on my phone, some of it's on my computer. I'll have a folder, and it's like, if I can just grab it from those emails and just in your title write Blaster Kid fan art, it'll be really easy for me to find. I can save it on my computer, on my PC, and I'll be able to share it. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting it from Facebook. It's been really nuts. So I want to share them though, so do that. And then there was someone, hopefully you still are around, someone did 3 logos for me, and I wanted to share your logos again. I couldn't find them on Facebook, and I sort of manicure my Instagram account. I don't keep it super flush with stuff, and some stuff is more transient, so I'll upload it and then I pull stuff down. I mean, it's not really where I focus my energy. But yeah, if you did 3 logos of Blaster Kid for me, I would absolutely love to share them with people. And so if you're out there, please do. So I wanted to talk about that, and then what was the other thing that I was dealing with? It was I'll get into the script. You can see right here I've got script, and then I've actually been laying out pages. I started laying out the pages in Clip Studio just to see if I would like it. I really prefer drawing on paper, and then maybe I would scan it and sort of tweak things, meaning I can move things around and resize things. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. I tried it in Photoshop. I like Photoshop better than Clip Studio, but I didn't give it a shot. I've been saving these files as PSDs, so I'm not saving them as Clip Studio files. But so here's the deal with my script, and I thought that this would be a neat little revelation for people out there that maybe have never written a comic book. So I've been writing since I was a little kid. Writing is actually pretty easy for me, and I think also, sounds funny, but being an only child, I've always had to sort of keep myself entertained. So it wasn't a big leap to go from being a big fan of music and lyrics and songs to playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then creating games of Dungeons and Dragons. And by the time I was like 13, I mean, I had been writing a lot and making things up a lot. So those are muscles that I just developed very early on. But anyway, the difference between between making up a story, organizing a story, writing out the story in a consecutive fashion, those are all different muscles. But then we have to look at it as a comic book script. So when you create a comic book script, the interesting thing is there's a few different ways to do it. I'm drawing the story. I kind of know what I want, but how well do I know it? That's the question. So what I did is I did what I would consider a hybrid. It wasn't intentional, but it was just the way that I originally laid out the script. I had all these notes. So if I open these files, and I have another folder with a whole bunch, but I would write down all my ideas. So if I would think of a scene, I would just write down as much information as I could think of the scene. Maybe I had dialogue that a character had said. Maybe I was picturing the environment more. Whatever it was, you kind of purge all of that. Very important to write this stuff down, because I'm telling you, there's so many little hidden gems and nuances and things that I said 8 months ago that I remember the scene. I remember sort of the interaction of the characters, but maybe it's just the way that I phrased the sentence. Maybe it was that one little descriptor that I had that really sort of takes me back to that moment. So it's very important to do that. But then what you ultimately end up having is you have these weird sort of fractal chunks of information. So I organized all that, and I felt like it felt like a finished script to me. It started, I would usually say, so it was leaning more towards a Marvel style script, but it was a bit of a hybrid. I mean, I would definitely, the difference between a Marvel style script is generally, I think it's just a summary, or they might go like, next 7 pages the characters are going to fight, pages da 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 da. So I had stuff like that where I went, pages 1 through 3 is going to be this scene, this is what happens. It's like Blaster Kid does this, she does this, and then it switches as we start to head out of page 3, and page 4 will be as we start to do this. When I started laying out the pages, I hated working that way. I felt like I was stalling every time I was starting a new layout. And what I realized is I actually prefer a script with actual panel descriptions, even for myself, even though I wrote it. I wanted to have a structure immediately going into it. And what I mean by that is, I'm starting page 10 and I'm doing layouts, and page 10 is just a description. It's like pages 10 through 13 are, this is what's going to go on. I'm immediately having to go, okay, and I'm trying to repicture the whole scene. I'm playing the whole scene out in my mind, and then I'm going like, well, could this be 3 panels or could it be 1? And I get impatient. But what I find is if I actually have the pages broke down, it takes patience to do this, to write it like this. But yeah, what I did yesterday, and I got through 8 pages. I'm gonna work on it all day today and try to actually finish the script in this format, because I just prefer it so much. Is panel 1 is this, panel 2 is this, panel 3 is this, and it was really, really fascinating working it out that way, because I was visualizing the scenes so much clearer, and I was able to prioritize the importance of scenes. And it's going to be so much easier when I'm laying out pages, because when I get to page 13 and I go, okay, it's 5 panels, I'm immediately playing with the 5 panels. I'm going, okay, this is the most important moment on this page, so maybe I want to make this panel bigger. These panels all sort of correspond to each other, so maybe these panels could all be the same size, because this is moving faster. But I'm immediately able to get into the work and not have to sit and sort of defocus and then refocus, meaning defocus, taking in a large piece of information, refocus, structuring that information. I've already structured the information, and then if I want to add a panel or remove a panel, or I feel like the cliffhanger for this page maybe would be better if I remove this or change this. You see where I'm going with this? So I think you get my point. But if for some reason you've ever written something and you don't feel comfortable doing it one way, give yourself the opportunity to try it another way. So, all right, let's get into Berserk. I'm excited to look at this. This stuff looked incredible. So we will go out of order, but this is the cover, and it is beautiful. This is a very, very cool piece. It's interesting because it's funny. It reminds me a little of like Joe Madureira, in a weird way. I don't know why. And then it kind of almost has a like, it looks like Midnighter and Batman. It's super creepy. I love the sort of the wing, the like sort of skeletal wing thing on this guy's cape. Berserk always confuses me. I always think it's a different book. I think that there's a manga called Bastard that I always confuse it with. So when I think of Berserk, I don't know the comics or the whatever you want to call it, the manga. So I've never read these. So this will be a first look reaction for me. And thank you for the tip yesterday on we'll go in order a little bit on this. someone mentioned that the Akira that we were looking at was flipped. I had forgot. I knew that Akira had been flipped, but I forgot while I was doing the video. But it was funny because there was a point where I was talking about the storytelling feeling like a little backwards. I didn't say it, but I was like, oh, it's weird they're coming from this angle, and that would have been why. So I don't know if these are how the story was originally laid out. I'm already kind of getting the vibe that these are backwards. Backwards to an American. So these may not have been flipped, because I'm getting the impression that it starts here. Is this a brush now? I feel like, oh, these are grayscale. I feel like the motion is moving me this way a little bit. This feels like the start of the panel more than this. The black doesn't catch my attention as much as these white lines do. So, and then I guess you would leave the page this way. Who knows? We'll see. You guys let me know if this has been flipped or not. This is a more difficult page to maybe tell. This is another cover, right? Dun 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 dun. This is gonna be fun. I love seeing art that I've never seen. Yeah, this is cool. This is nuts. So let me know, does this artist use an assistant? Do all manga artists use assistants? I mean, it's not a big deal, because if you really think about it, American comic book pencilers use assistants because they use an inker, many of them, less now, and then colorists. So, you know, comics has always been a bit of a team effort. It's a lot of work. That's why I said I'm stressing on the workload to create your own book. You have to wear a lot of hats, and I'm quite an organized fellow, and still, it's a lot to take in. Yeah, these are really cool. Let's zoom in a little bit. I think I know this guy. No. Okay. All right. Da-na-na-na-na. Ooh. Damn. This is cool. I'm just getting used to what I'm seeing. This looks like it might be a little bit of a zipatone. Or something like that, a screen tone pattern here. It's nice. The skin, it looks like it's got screen tones on it. It's a little pixely, so it's hard to tell, but the in here too, yeah. So it looks like there's. But yeah, I thank you for everyone that's been reaching out to me and giving me helpful advice and tips and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. It's tough too, because it's such a splintered comic environment right now in some ways. It's frustrating for me because I love everyone, you know? And it's hard to see so much division with something as fun as comics. So that brings me down a bit. It's sad face. I have so many friends in comics and so many friends that are fans. They're not all gonna see eye to eye. That's the problem. It's like it's literally impossible for me to have 2,000 friends, meaning people that I've met over the last 20 years doing comics, professionally and fans. They're not all gonna see eye to eye. But I'm not gonna isolate people, and I'm not gonna stop being friends with people because I don't agree with everything that they say or do. You know? I'm very tolerant of people being different, you know? I respect that in people, you know? If we were all the same, it would be boring. So, you know, I'd rather talk to people and listen to people than just shut them out. So it's frustrating. It really does make me sad. I'm bumming out now. But I just decided I'm not playing that game. So it feels good to even say that, but I'm not playing that cancel culture shit. Fuck it. I love all of you. I want to share art with people. I want to have fun and draw comics. That's it. I know Jim Steranko is a nut. I've seen the crazy shit he says online. But I don't know him. Bill Sienkiewicz is a nut too. Ethan is crazy. We're all crazy. We're all different. We agree that we're all different. This is so weird. So I think I had said in another video that Berserk confuses me because I think it's another comic. Like when I see the art, like if someone showed this to me, I would think that it was this other book, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's really, really crazy art, like super weird, almost surreal in a way. Yeah, these are great little drawings. I remember when we looked at the other Berserk stuff, these faces like this. So when an artist like this uses an assistant, based on my experiences of seeing it done in American comics, is something like this. The main guy, the main artist, could sketch this out, where he just went like, I want rows of stuff here, and then someone who's a proficient artist, but maybe not like a lead animator, lead cartoonist, you know, like maybe they don't draw the best faces and stuff like that. They know how to draw in perspective and do things like this. That's, you would use an assistant for something like this. I would assume that the lead artist probably doesn't do the screen tones on pieces, because that would be very time consuming, and something that you could really give to someone that wants to maybe have more of an intern type experience. Stuff like this you could probably give to an assistant, but you know, a shot like this you would kind of picture the main artist would do. A shot like this he would do, but then he may not do the background and cut out all this screen tone around it. I mean, it makes sense. And these are weekly, right? Like this stuff came out like every week. That's tough to do. It was with webtoons, it's like that. Webtoons, this is great. Man, she's so cute. That's really, really cool. Yeah, with webtoons it's like that, where it's weekly. They expect like a certain amount of panels for your story if you're a featured artist. If you're just doing it as a personal project, then it's, the demands aren't exactly the same. This is really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really neat. It's funny because it started making me think of my... I had talked about in the past, I have a comic book called The Great Game. It would have been a horrible, horrible idea for a first comic book for me to do in terms of actually trying to draw it. It was just way too much. It's like you're dealing with a whole planet, and then everything that's going on the planet. It's not literally like Lord of the Rings, but it's one of those things where it's like you could work on The Great Game for many, many years. I will do the book though, but I felt like if I'm going to kick off my career as a writer penciler, I should do something that's a little more, you know. You agree, Kitty? Okay, thank you. My cats, actually, they give me career advice. It's not always the best advice, though. They want me to invest in kibbles. That's really cool. Oh, man, that's really neat. Wow, what... See, and that's another thing, too, is you wonder, like, I wonder if the artist renders all this. He probably does. I'm going to guess that he did all the detail on this. It was interesting when I was watching High Score last night on, oh, I see, you want me to see your lane down there in the sunshine. Oh, Kitty, so happy to be in the sun. On High Score last night, they did the Street Fighter Mortal Kombat episode. I want to say it was episode 5 of the series, possibly. They actually showed the artist that designed the characters for Street Fighter, or at least some versions of them, drawing, and it was really, really interesting to watch him draw. I actually learned a lot from just the little short segments that they showed. His thumbnails are very gestural, very gestural. He doesn't go in and sort of scribble it out. I mean, he does, but it's more like sweeping lines, like stuff like this, like when he lays it in, and they're almost like outlines, you know, something like this for like an arm, you know. It's a little hard to see in gray, but yeah, you could really see a confidence in his stuff, and then he kind of builds it up from there. But I liked it because it was a lot of sweeping lines, you know, a lot of this kind of thing. So it gives him a very exciting silhouette right from the beginning, because, you know what I mean, like something like that is going to have a cool vibe to it. All right. Yeah, this is really, really good. God dang, it's a lot of stuff to draw. Oh, you know, this is what I was going to say, too. A friend of mine asked me a very, very funny question, and I was honest with him, and I'll be honest with you, too. He said, when you... Because I told him, I said, I'm actually scripting Blaster Kid out as a literal script, you know. And he goes, when you wrote the script, he goes, did you write it knowing that you were going to be drawing it and try to avoid things that were hard or that you don't like drawing? And I was totally honest with him. I said, no. I said, not at all. In fact, the story is the story. I knew when I was writing some pages, I said, this is going to be a lot of stuff to draw, or this might be hard to draw, but no, I did not. I did not concede to the difficulty of the drawing. But with that said, I will say this, is I would probably never do a comic book that would be like The Sopranos. Although if I got good enough and I felt like confident that I could draw it, sure, you know, maybe I would. You know, sometimes you avoid stuff just, you know, because it's like, I always had used the 100 Bullets reference. I said like a horrible book. Like if I was dreaming of doing comic books and penciling comics and I got a title like 100 Bullets, I would be miserable because it's just stuff that's hard to draw for me and stuff that I don't really like. It's not fantasy enough, you know. It's not superhero enough. It's not sci-fi enough. But it could just because of the lack of experience. But yeah, no, for Blaster Kid, I came up with a story over a period of time, and it was what it was. And you'll hear many creative people and people that write and do music and stuff like that will say that really when you get something down and it's going, that was a beautiful spread, by the way, it writes itself, you know? You know where you're taking the character, and you know when they have to interact with something that it's gonna, you know, they can surprise you. Characters will behave ways that you didn't expect. You know, you throw them in a situation where they're coming across someone, and you just kind of go, oh wow, okay, I didn't realize that they would relate this way, or that they would not relate a way, or you know, this is beautiful. This is so good. Please send your thoughts and feelings about this work to this address. Well, I would write them and I would say, this is really good. Really, really good. But yeah, so no, I didn't change the script to have things that I would write better, but I, you know, created a comic book that I knew that I would enjoy drawing. Yeah, this is really wild. So I don't know the circumstance of this, but this looks a little hell-like. It doesn't remind me of Bosch, but you know what I mean. Like these look like very like 9 Planes of Hell kind of stuff going on here. It's interesting because it's like the demonic apostle army at Griffith's command. Will they be effective against Ganishka's ultimate power? Oh yeah, and this was other advice that I had for creator-owned things. So when you set up an Indiegogo page as an example, and you have to there's a lot of sound bites. A friend of mine was doing self-publishing kind of before the whole crowdfunded thing took off, but he would just sell them at like small comic shows and stuff like that. But he self-published a lot of comics. He's done like 23 or 27 books. He's hardcore. He's got like 5 titles. And he really, really was good. He had like an elevator pitch for every single book. And I would sit with him at like Free Comic Day. Chad, what's up if you're out there? I don't think Chad watches my channel though. But it was absolutely incredible watching a stranger come up, and he would go through his 5 different books so fast and tell him what it was like and what it was about. And when you do your Indiegogo pre-launch page, they ask you a lot of questions that are kind of similar to, like, you really have to have an elevator pitch, meaning that they give you like 200 characters to describe your book, and it's tricky. And I'm someone who actually enjoys challenges like that, and I love word choice. And I think I briefly mentioned it in one of the other videos where it was like, you know, say you were going to use the word explosive, but you'd go, man, that's a lot of letters, and I'm out of text. Like I'm at 205 letters and I can only use 200. And you start looking for words you can chop down, and all of a sudden you're looking for, you know, synonyms for explosive that are as equally as descriptive and capture the mood that you want. But yeah, there's a lot to keep in mind, you know, and you feel like everything is somewhat important, you know. It's like you don't want some lame tagline for your book where people read it and go, oh, okay, it's one of these kind of things. I don't know, this sounds lame, this sounds generic, or whatever it is. So it's one of those things where yeah, you know, keep your eyes peeled on other people's campaigns and stuff. That's what, like, my friend Antoine, who's been noting me a lot, and again, Antoine, I really appreciate all the help that you've been giving me with this. He clearly had been following people's campaigns quite close, so he'll explain to me, like, things to watch out for and dangerous behaviors and thought processes. Because as many crowdfunded books that have made it into the hands of fans, there's many that have not. I'll deliver, for sure. That isn't as big of a concern for me as some things. I've been doing comics for so long that it's like, if I'm able to work on the book, it will get done and it will get out and into your hands and it'll look nice. That I'm confident of. Just all the business side of it is tricky, you know. That's the challenging part. But like I said, as I learn stuff, I'll share it with you. He sent me links to a bunch of stuff, and many different people have explained parts of the process and do's and don'ts. So this is really cool. Would be fun to see some of this in color. A piece like this, I would be interested to know what his vision of color was for it. Are they blue, or are they like a light purple, or, you know, green? They could even be red. I don't know. Anyone that's read the book, what color did you picture this dragon? Does he describe it? I'm assuming it's a dragon. Ooh, look at that. Damn. Yeah, you know, it's funny. This is interesting. I wonder... Some of this stuff looks like Barlow's Inferno. Or Beksinski. This right here, in particular, I wonder if he was influenced by Barlow's Inferno for this. It's an art book by concept artist Wayne Barlow, but he did this crazy book where you go through hell, but he created all these crazy beasts. I know that some of them are described in, like, you know, the Bible or whatever the reference point is for that. I don't really know. I'm kind of a dumbass when it comes to that stuff, so. As Keith Giffen said, admit your weaknesses and the things that you can't do well. I'm knowledgeable, but I have huge blank spots in my knowledge base. People that have watched my YouTube channel, they can tell. They know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know the names of anatomy. I didn't know yesterday horizontal, you know. I always have to think about it. Oh, it was vertical. See, I even fucked it up then. I know what it is. It's just, it's like, it's not what I concern myself with. It's like my hard drive has only got so much space. Sometimes I have to kick shit out. Limited space on my hard drive. I keep it for the creative juice, you know? That's where I focus my RAM. Look at that. That is crazy. Jeez Louise. Man, that is nuts. It's really weird. Is this like in the middle of his head? Because it's it's a horn. He's got one that's been like shaved off and one is there. I get it. Interesting. It's funny because this one was huge. This one seems a little smaller. That's really nicely drawn. Oh, and this is another thing for my YouTube channel. I have a really fun idea for a show. I want to do a live show once a week called the Comic Nerd Faux Show Show. Wait, is that right? Faux Show. The Comic Nerd Faux Show. I want to get 4 people on, and we're going to talk about comics. I'll provide questions for them, and then each person can have their own topic that we discuss. And what I want to do is I want to have one professional come on. I'll always be the host and sort of moderator of it. Not moderator. We're not going to argue comics. And then there's some YouTube channels that I think really deserve more views and have really good content, like Panelology, Earl Grey, the Jerk comic guy. There's a short list that I was immediately thinking of. There's a guy that I follow that's just a dude that collects comics. I thought, like, if I reached out to him, you know, and so it would be like 2 professionals, 1 comic book reviewer, YouTuber, and then like 1 person that leans more towards a fan. But I need people with real outgoing personalities. I can't get like people that are super wallpapery. You know what I mean? Because it's got to be interesting. I've seen before with I have favorite shows on YouTube where they'll bring in people, and sometimes it's like one boring person does kind of make the show sort of suck. I hate to say it, but you know what I mean? Like guitar shows that I watch, it's like, yeah, there's a chemistry that a certain group will have. So, but I thought it would be varied. But you know, but I'm willing to try anyone. I mean, it's like I'm not going to be like, oh, you're not good enough, or you're not funny enough. But yeah, I'm looking for people that when you watch their channel, you are interested in what they're going on about. I thought it'd be fun, something different, and you know, just like. We'll cover a lot of ground, and it'll be live so that people can ask questions and share their stories, and you know, it seemed like a fun idea. And again, all are welcome. All. Everyone. People don't want to hear that anymore. They're like, no, Rich, can't be everyone. I don't like that person. It's tough. I'm gonna make you love me. I'm a man of the people. And Antoine's a good person to ask. He's known me since probably I first got on the internet. I've always been like this, right, Tony? Tell him in the comments. I love everyone. It was really funny. So Tony and I met Antoine, he'll comment as in the comments section. This is really, really cool. Man, it's creepy. We've been on the internet so long. I remember when there wasn't trolls. Like the first like year or two I was online, nobody was really like a jerk because you didn't have everyone online. It was generally people that were, you know, into computers, into information, hobbies, and it was like it was a certain group. I don't know. There was just a different sort of vibe to it all. But after a couple of years, you'd have like one crazy person. So like you'd have a group or whatever that you'd be a part of, and there'd always be kind of the one person in the group where you would have to kind of like handle them with kid gloves. But sort of as a group, everyone could sort of like, you know, maintain order. But then over the next 10 years, like everyone got online. You know, your friend that never got internet that finally got it, and then it was like, oh look, that's a perfect word balloon for it. Then things got stupid. Look, that's really funny. This has a very Art Adams vibe. I'm thinking that this guy's influenced by some American comic stuff. I don't think that's a coincidence. There's a few of these heads look very, very Art Adams, or almost like a Mad Magazine thing. That's really cool. But yeah, Tony will back me on that, right, Antoine? Do you remember the evolution of it? It was so fun at first. Everyone got along. Everyone was different. Pros hung with fans. Everyone was nice. What the hell? What was that? This is cool. Now it's nuts. There was some news from DC last night. I actually don't, it was like someone from one of the video game companies is doing something. I don't know, is he like the president of publishing or something? This is cool. It's really interesting. Such a different style than the other stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, what I'm gonna go in full screen mode, and we're gonna just start moving through them in out of order. It'll just be easier. This is really beautiful. I love stuff like this. Man, it's really cool. It's so dark. This would be a piece where when you were drawing it, it would almost feel like it was getting away from you. And you'd really have to just hold on with the belief that when it finally got done, I was like, why is that up there? Yeah, that if you can make it to the finish line and finish it without like getting hacky or starting to rush, that it'll work out okay. But I've done pieces like this where it's like, it'll look weird for a long time, you know, maybe 60-70%. Once you start getting a big area done and you kind of see what it's going to finally look like, it'll settle you down a little bit. But yeah, it can be kind of creepy. Yeah, this stuff has to be influenced by the Barlow's Inferno or vice versa. What year was this? Tell me. Let me know. Wow. I had seen this when it opened. That is really cool. It's almost giving me a little bit of an optical illusion when I look at it. Like it up in this top area, it almost sometimes feels like it's moving just the tiniest bit. This has got some nice foreshortening on it. There's overlap and foreshortening as it starts to wrap down here. Do you see how these are getting more scrunched up? It's really, really nicely done. And then the value shifts too. Okay, so there's some Bosch. Well, there you go. Richie was right. I felt a little Hieronius or whatever his name is. That's cool. Oh, Bosch. Bish Bosch. Wow, look at that. That is nuts. Dude. Wow. That is really cool. This is kind of Giger-ish. This guy likes all my favorites. You guys knew. That's why everyone suggested Berserk 34. They knew this would be right up my dark alley. Oh man, that's cool. Wow. Look, these look like legs. Do you see that? Giger would throw in penises everywhere. This guy, he's not as perverted. Oh, that's cool. This is like a woman's hips. You see? And that's her stomach, and her leg was right here. This is her butt. It's a little... It's getting a little Giger in here. These could make you wonder what's going on. He didn't take it as far as my man Hans Rudy. This is cool. I don't know, is this the same artist? This is interesting. Well, thank you for letting me vent in this video a little bit. It's just frustrating for me. It's like I feel like I'm a nice guy stuck in the middle of this huge sort of confusing thing. That's really neat. This is super cool. This is nice too. It's funny, these trees look a little like Barry Windsor Smith trees. And so I'm doing the thing that sometimes bugged me, but I've started to grow thicker skin on it. But I always hated comparisons in art. But you have to understand is when someone's not familiar with your work, they have to categorize it. And I'm doing it here with this person's stuff because I don't know it as well. I'm constantly trying to ground it for myself. So it's like, you know, you reach for things where you go, this looks a little like Robert Crumb, and this looks like Walter Simonson, this looks like Arthur Adams. And it's like, people that are fans, you've already become accustomed to this, and it's just this artist's work then. But, you know, I actually find it fun now to see what people, when people look at my stuff, what they say. The influences or the comparisons are usually quite flattering. So at that point you go, okay, well at least I'm on the right track. When I was learning, sometimes you would get some oddballs, like they would go like, your work reminds me of so-and-so, and you're like, oh no, like, not that guy's stuff. But odds are they probably drew better than you anyway at that point. This is cool. Yeah, this is a nice layout for this page. I love this. You got this beautiful upshot of the castle, and then this is nice and gives you a nice sense of scale of what's going on. And then this is great. He brings the camera around, and we've got this nice thing going on here. And then this is cool with them looking out the window. Oh, well, I'm trying to figure out. So those are... I'm looking at the shape of the window. Are they looking at this scene from like a different castle? Like, maybe are they, like, facing this whole scene? Oh, man, look at that. Yeah, you know, what's funny is I was getting a little bit of a Where the Wild Things Are vibe at times earlier on. I didn't say it, but, was Maurice Sendak? He's really good. I was a big fan of Shel Silverstein as a kid. I don't know if, like, many people will know his work. I'm sure some will. He was a poet that would do drawings. And it's not Dr. Seuss-like, but it's... you know, that era, although Seuss was earlier, but it's cool stuff. He did cool little pen and ink drawings. I liked the poems, and I think one was called Where the Sidewalk Ends, and then The Giving Tree, possibly. Well, I know The Giving Tree is, but I'm thinking Where the Sidewalk Ends was one of his. This is cool, too. Fantasy covers reality. The world has begun its transfiguration into the wondrous. I like it. Oh man, look at that. That's cool too. That's cool too. Those are funny looking snake things. They have very weird heads. The way he does the anatomy on the horses here is, it kind of bugs me. I don't know why. It looks like balls. I don't know, it's like supposed to be like that. It's just, it looks weird. There's like, I'm sure those muscles are there, but he really pops them almost to the point where I'm like, my eye keeps getting stuck right there on the horse. Every time I look at him, I don't even look at anything else but that. You see what I'm saying? It's a very, like, man, it locks you into this shape. And the neck leads you down to it right away almost every time. Balls. Berserk fans are going to kill me. They're like, what are you talking about, jerk? Hello, horsey, with your Pegasus horn or unicorn, whatever you are. I guess you're a unicorn. Pegasus have wings. These are cool branches. Well, I was gonna say, sadly, where I live, we don't have tons of trees, but we do have palm trees. We have bushes and stuff, but we're not in a foresty area. That's pretty cool too. This is nice. Craters are tough to draw. Like I still don't feel like I do them that well. I know sort of the idea behind them and how you shape. You know, if you pick a light source, how one side will be lit and the shadow will sort of cast through it. But yeah, they're a little tricky. I had to do a lesson for a guy. Oh, it's beautiful, man. That is so kick-ass. Wow. I had to do a lesson for a guy, and it's funny because it's a similar shape to this. He was drawing a detective book. If you're out there, hello, what's up? Nice to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying the video. But he was doing a detective story, and he had to draw like old school, like 40s, 50s, maybe 30s style detective hats, meaning like, you know, sort of like the mobster hats, but they have like slightly unusual brim. But it was interesting breaking them down because they're swoopy. You know, it's like the shape kind of does this on one side. It goes around the head and it comes over here, and then there's the crease in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like they crease the sides, there's a crease in the front, and there's a crease over here. But yeah, it was interesting breaking them down, and then this would actually go like that, and this lifts, you know, but the hat is underneath it, kind of deal. And they also have a band around it. I did that with the mouse. But anyway, those are tricky little motherfuckers to draw. The creases in them make them a pain in the ass. But it's the same with the craters, you know, where it's like those shapes, they're slightly bent and they don't have like it's, you know, they're not flat plane, so it makes it a little tricky. This is cool. Yeah, so this is the character. The guy, he does, the way that he draws all these characters is so good. I love it. Man, they're so solid. He's really, really, like, man, his structure is so spot on. These are great little heads. This too, with his messed up eye, and this is all really good. This is great. It's fun. I loved Final Fantasy VII. I'm getting Final Fantasy VII, or maybe even 8 vibes on this. Oh, look at that. Man, that's crazy. That's the explosion. Holy shit. Wow. Damn. The scale of that is insane. This is cool. Very different style. Yeah, like seeing this tilts a little bit into like the Crumb vibe for me. It's a little Crumb-like. This artist would be a very, very interesting person to do an interview with. He's got some wild influences. The light covers the world. Yes, it did. Boom. That's cool. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. What was that movie called with those weird, like, sort of octopus aliens where they would talk to him through, like, sound? It's like the movie's very gray. But yeah, they would go through like the tunnel thing, and then they would be in the room where the weird creatures would sort of like bubble around and like talk with like weird, almost like whale noises. It was a pretty good movie. I liked it. Sci-fi is just so creepy because the idea of like if something came to Earth like for real, oh my god, we would be so fucked. This is what it would look like. We'd all be looking up at like something, just going like, "Oh man, something made it to Earth. Uh-oh." What do you think they would be nice or would they be mean? This is really, really cool. Oh man. I used to follow Secure Team 10. He vanished. Tyler, what happened, buddy? I'm sure that quite a few of you know about Secure Team 10. It's impossible to be on YouTube and not have seen it. Man, that is beautiful. That is so cool looking. Wow. Damn. That is really, really impressive. What a beautiful, beautiful layout. Boy, that is so cool looking. Damn. Oh, this is cool. I didn't really notice this at first. You see this like little thing flying down here too. God dang. Wow. It's funny because this looks like fur. Is it that? Is it the cat monster with the horn? Wow. What the fuck? Holy shit. Again, we're going backwards, so it's a little disjointed in terms of like the order of this. But man, that is really cool too. That's interesting. So this will be a long video. I'm not going to do one for Patreon today. I'll just do this. This will be good. It's nice and long. And everyone from Patreon is on YouTube anyway, I'm sure. That's cool. Oh, that's the dude from the cover, finally. There he is. Oh, it's a chick. Is it a chick or is it a dude? Chick dude. She's got nice lips. Wow, that's really, really cool. The one who would hunt the God Hand. Man, that is so cool. Oh, wow. Look at that. I was waiting for you. Oh, look at that. Damn. That is awesome. Wow, he really nailed that expression. Boy, that thing looks super pissed. It was interesting when I was writing my script yesterday and describing a certain scene. I was describing facial expressions of these certain characters, and it kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, in my mind, I was picturing if I was drawing it, like how much I would pull sort of the feral quality, or you know what I mean? It's like, depending on the stuff that's on a person's face, how much of the face can you see? What's going to sell the emotion, you know? If this guy had some sort of mask on his face, how do you make him look super pissed and super intense, or, you know? Yeah. Wow, that's really cool too. I know, Kitty. It's Berserk, right? Look, there's that guy. This too kind of makes you wonder. It's like was this post Mignola? Because, you know, like Hellboy that has the one horn sometimes. I would think that this, well, Hellboy started in like 92-ish, 92, 93 maybe. Nice eyes. Oh man, look at that. That's cool. This is a really neat experience seeing this. It's a lot of different styles, but it's like, man, very satisfying. Oh, that's cool. Carl Stianda and I did a story with Alan Moore, and we had to draw a character look just like this. It's funny. It was this huge, weird story with Union flying around and doing like weird shit. Wow, that's funny. So I wonder, maybe this is something from like literature that I don't know about. Oh, that's cool. Wow, that's crazy. It's funny because this reminds me of Frank Miller 300, sort of. That's really cool. This is nice too. That's a crazy, crazy application of like Zipatone. I'm assuming that it all is. Wow, that's super wild. I wonder if the gray is brush ink, like watered down brush ink, and then they put the screen tone over it and then removed some of it where the white areas are. It's difficult for me to tell the technique. I can't imagine there was a screen tone paper that already had this sort of swoop in it. I mean, I guess it could, but because this looks like I could see doing a watered down ink of some sort. I don't know. And then yeah, having the assistant go in and remove the areas where you want white. My cat just jumped on the chair and scared the shit out of me. What are you doing, kitty? Well, this is really cool. I actually like the storytelling on this. It was funny too, as I was talking about yesterday in the video. We did the wizard training, and they were talking about times when you can. It was not Esad Ribic. It was what is his name? Oh shoot! Oh man, what is his name? I'm following him on frickin' Instagram now. I can't think of his name. He did a whole article on silhouettes and how he used them in or was it might have been Rizzo, but I think it was Rizzo and then one other guy. Maybe it was Rizzo. Yeah, it's really cool. And that's interesting too. Is this like you can see through this unless it's something going over the front of their face? Are they like under a spell? Or is I don't like it's weird because this feels like I'm seeing the back of the helmet. Like these are almost like ghosts. That's interesting. I don't know what the story plot is on it. Wow, that's crazy. It looks really cool. It actually looks very, very cool. Like I said, I'm a huge, huge Frank Miller fan. I just have never been able to fully figure out a way to blend the way that I draw with a big heap of his work. It's like you just kind of almost want to more capture the spirit of it. But yeah, it's really cool. I can't even remember what year. What year did 300 come out? Because this could have been influenced by 300 a little bit too. This guy, I'm just getting the vibe that possibly he could be like an American comics fan. On top of like all the other stuff that he's into. But maybe not. Yeah, so crazy. This is really cool too. My mother poisoned me. Damn. Mura Kentaru. Dude, guy's so good. Yeah, it's so funny. Carlson and I did a character that was just like this. Okay, I'm gonna start wrapping this up. Where are we at? This is a longie. A longie. We had a long intro though, so I wanted to reward people that are into it. I feel bad though because you label a video like this Berserk, and then Berserk fans have all this other nonsense, you know, conversational stuff in it where it's like it didn't focus so much. So I apologize to all of you. It's difficult because I don't know the artist's work that well and the history of everything and the story, so I can only really look at the art. That's really cool. It's fascinating too because he gets so much texture on it. I'm assuming that's just splatter. It might be a little bit of screen tone down here too, but it works well. God damn, that's detailed shit. I had a friend that could draw stuff like this in high school. He was so good at it. He really had practiced hard about just like drawing, like starting a drawing and then just going and going and going. And you really like to do something like this. I mean, it would definitely benefit you with that. He was one of my biggest artistic influences, honestly. His name was Stephen Mort. I've looked for him online a million times. I can't find him. I always tell the story. Last time I saw him, I bumped into him at Toys R Us. And I had been working in comics for a while, so I hadn't seen him in probably 8 years at that point. I told him what I was doing, and I was kind of, you know, sort of crediting him for getting me excited about art, drawing again as a teenager, because I had sort of stopped between the ages of maybe like 12 or 13 and say 16. He got me into Giger. He was the one that showed me the Necronomicon book, Kent Williams, probably some heavy metal magazine and stuff like that. But yeah, and then he goes, I'm still drawing, and I gave him my number, but he never called me. So I don't know where he is. You figure like everyone would be on the internet now. I still have a small group of friends that I'll look for once or twice a year, or maybe every few years, and think like, all right, can I find this motherfucker now? Like, where the fuck did this person go? Like someone you knew in 5th grade that you lost touch with or whatever, and you're like, ah, man, they got to be out there somewhere. But yeah, some of them, I have a few small handful of people that I would love to talk to. Can't find them. Where are you at? Where are you at? This is cool. Oh, look at that. Damn. That is really cool. It's almost like, I'm like, okay, man, that is nuts. We're almost like looking at a tree that's been cut off at the bottom. We see the bottom of the tree and maybe like different, I don't know, fossils or some sort of like things growing in there maybe. I'm assuming that's the way it goes. I feel like we're looking up. Like this is the bottom. And we're looking up and it's going up into the sky. This is really beautiful. This is great. Damn. That is so good. It's interesting because I wonder with a piece like this, if it was colored, how that would work. Obviously this book wasn't colored, but I'm just saying that like if you did that much detail on a piece, just you really wanted to flex your muscles, if it would work or not. I don't know. I think it would be pretty buried in the mix unless the colorist was very sympathetic to retaining your work. Wow, look at that. Ooh, that's cool. Splatter me this, splatter me that, Batman. Ooh, that's cool too. Dang. Love that. Wow. Nice. Alright, I'm going to say that this is the end. This is a very long video. Let me get a full screen and see where we're at. God dang, there's still more. It was like 160 pages, I think, open. You know, we're almost at the end. Let's take it to the end zone, friends. What do we got to do today, anyway? This is why I'm the best. Close. I have to know what the rest of the pages look like. He's always throwing me curveballs. This is some crazy stuff. Chaos, this is. What a vigorous... Oh, man. It's supposed to be a huge heat wave coming my direction over the next 4 days. I'm not looking forward to it. I'll be taking my walks early. I always do, but I'll go extra early now. I'm not going to fuck with the heat. It's supposed to go 20 degrees hotter than it is right now. That doesn't bode well for your pal Rich. He doesn't like the heat. That's me with the heat. What in the blazes is this? It's a heat wave, friend. It's gonna burn us up. Oh man, look at that. Holy cow. Wow, that's really wild. Damn. So this looks, it's interesting. This looks like a beast that they're using to fight them. Because the guards are on it. That's interesting. Last night I slept like shit. I was stressing. Yeah, I don't like drama. I'm a dramaless person. I remember one time I was working with a penciler, and we were good friends, but he's a handful to work with, I'll be honest. It's like, he's a nice guy, but he's not very reliable and stuff like that. And I was so stressed out working with this guy because it was like the pages weren't coming in, the deadline was getting all messed up. He wasn't telling the truth, you know. It was like, it was really, really frustrating. And I remember being so wound up. I thought I was literally going to have like a heart attack. I was so upset that it was just not being handled in a professional manner. And I finally got fed up, and I think over the weekend I was just like, you know what, I'm quitting. I've quit very, very few jobs, but I've done it, I think, maybe 3 or 4 times in my whole career, where it's not working, and you have to be the one to be like, I just don't work this way. And I quit, and man, it was like the stress was just gone. It felt so freaking good. It was like I went from feeling like I was gonna die and like the anxiety was gonna make like me fucking just explode, to like, this dude's out of my life. I can just be friends with him now and not have to deal with him on a professional. But again, you know, that kind of crosses over into what I was talking about, like where, you know, right now people, you know, there's a lot of division and stuff like that. And the bottom line is that, you know, like I said, I've got friends that I grew up with that are online, and they're very political online. And some of them, it's like, you know, I didn't even know that they had all this shit on their mind. It was like when I would hang out with them, we would never ever talk about like different stuff, and you know, but I still love them, and I'd still hang out with them. It's just like, yeah, you see different sides of people's personality online, and it's like, especially now, it's so complex. But I just want to draw comic books and work with people that want to draw comic books, do create our own comic books. I have no animosity towards any of the companies, and I'm good to go. I just want to do cool shit. This is great too. You know what? I've seen this page before. I don't know if I maybe at one point grabbed like double page spreads and showed like a big cluster of stuff. I remember this piece or something very similar. It's really cool. It's very unusual. That's why, I mean, it kind of stands out. But I remember this, like, going, wow, that's really crazy. It's like his body is like the actual sort of ride or something. It's like Shadow of the Colossus kind of stuff, which is such a great game. That's cool. Yeah, man, it's interesting because I've talked about this in other videos where it's like some artists are really good at drawing like a particular size head, and man, they just nail it. And that's this artist. He has this size head down so freaking good, and every time I see it on a page, and it's not to say he isn't drawing like a million other things great, but like he really locks in on this particular thing, because when he does little group scenes and you see that, they're always just so well done. You know, this is great too. He's kind of scary looking though in a way. Whoa, wow, that is nuts. That would be tricky to draw. You know, it could look really weird because it's like, because his body and then this almost could be read as like his back legs in a weird way. Um, yeah, you'd have to be real confident as the artist drawing it to make sure that it looks good, because it could create optical illusions where it's like, you know what I mean? He still needs to look like he's part of the back end of it, and not just like you know, some weird, like, it's like, oh wait, is this a guy standing behind this thing? Her face. Cool. Oh man, look at that. Berserk continues December 12th. What year, though, friends? Tell me. Holy cow, what is that? Damn. You had to draw a lot of horses. I didn't put horses in Blaster Kid. Spoilers. No, not on purpose. It just doesn't fit the story. I would draw horses. I put them in my Sopranos comic. Okay. I'm going to have breakfast after I shoot this video. What do you guys think of that? See, this is about approximation of that head size again. So these are a little smaller. This is nice. Actually, I really like this head in particular. The way this guy's head's turning. Like, he's really kind of reacting to, like, it's like, he's like, ah, fuck. But he's getting ready to shoot anyway. And this guy's dialed in. He's good to go. Yep, that's really, really good drawing. Whoa! Well, I have to say that was fun. I really enjoyed this. This was a very, very cool video. So, all right, we should be towards the end. Towards the end. Inform the entire army that we're towards the end. Da-na-na-na. We fight together with the hawk. So if you have any other recommendations for manga books, please let me know. I will look into it and I will try to do a video. I wanted to get back to doing this stuff because it definitely seemed like there was a lot of interest in it, which is very, very cool. And it's also very, very fun for me to see work that I haven't seen, I'm not as familiar with. So I'm always looking for new things to learn about. In fact, almost to a fault. I'm very, very, like, I love learning. I have to actually force myself to stop, or I would just do that all the time and not even work on my own stuff. I'm just always looking for something cool to see. Lady Sorceress. Because this is a work of fiction. Thanks for pointing that out, because thank God. I was a little nervous that all this stuff was maybe happening a few hundred miles north of me, and boy, I wasn't ready. That's really cool. Yeah, that looks a little like Arthur Adams to me. Some of his like Godzilla work and things like that. But again, probably just a coincidence. Alright, cool. Have a great day. I love you all. Thank you for sticking it out. That was a very, very long video, but really, really cool. That will stay with me all day. I may watch it back again myself. Yeah, thank you so much for your support. Just be patient with Blaster Kid. Like I said, it's a learning process for me, and I'm trying to do this the best way that I can. I obviously don't want to fire off a campaign and then not be able to fulfill it. That's not a concern for me, because I would never do it if I felt that it wasn't going to work properly. So anyway, but it's just that means that the preparation has to be done appropriately. So, all right, have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.